The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Cheers!
Cheers, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
the Ganja Gospel. This is
Amber Lalana, the hippie witch.
and I'm TwizTD RootZ. That's right. Today we are going to be learning and reading about the Anunnaki Lost Book of Lord Enki, to be exact. What episode? What chapter?
We are on the 8th tablet today. We are going to do a quick summarization of what happened in the 7th tablet last week.
That's right. And we're going to find out where you came from, where people came from. Did God make people? Or did some people make people? Did people make people? Or did God make people? What is God? Who is God? Where is he now? Those are all the questions we're going to be answering here on the Ganja Gospel. We're going to be finding out, is the earth flat? How do you know it? Can you prove it? Have you been to space? Well, if you're a flat earther, how do you even believe space is real? And, you know what, we're going to be asking questions like about the Israelites and who are they? Why are they who they are? And who are the actual, who were the originators? Who are the original natives that populated the lands like North and South America, some of the other islands, Australia? Was it the Abzu or was Africa the Abzu? Oh, these are questions we want to ask and get answered through a learning process, not through a heated discussion argument. See, that's what it is. It's all about learning the truth.
This is uncovering truths, digging deep, being open-minded, because everybody has their own truth, but we are trying to see our truth, the human truth beneath it all.
That's right. Where'd we come from?
Where we come from?
Why do we got the ganja? If you'd like a Ganja Gospel shirt, hit us up at twinflamefarms.com or gmail.com. One of those two. And we can make you one for the cool price of $22.95 plus shipping.
And thank you, by the way, to our network who is hosting us, as well as TwizTD RootZ over here, the YouTube channel that we are absolutely streaming from completely, and where most of the chat is taking place. But cheers to the Dorkening, still toking with Hellfire Radio, Greenhaven Media, all kinds of amazing platforms within this network that have come together and make it possible for us to share all kinds of goodness. So all those links are down below. If you don't know about them, click them, support them, like them, subscribe to them, and be cool. Yes.
And the only way this gets out there and gets bigger is if you share it to your people. There might be people out there you don't even know that are all into the stuff we talk about. You might think they're Bible thumpers, and you'll never know until you try. Send it to them. Who knows? They might come over here and be like, I thought some things were up. You might invite them to the whole big world of truth. And
all it takes is a curiosity.
As you guys are ushering people into their pew seats and the gathering offering plate is going around full of those joints, make sure you pick up your joint and you get your lighter. We don't have lighters. Lighters should be at the end of each pew. You got to pass it down to the other end, and hopefully it can get back around to you.
Yeah. So
everyone pick up their joints and light up.
Light up. Our moment of silence as we all light up.
The one of the silence with the lighter clicks.
And the bong tokes and the first coughs.
Become the bringer of light.
Envelop yourself and the smoke and the essence of cannabis.
Ray Evans. Nice background. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Butterflies in the sky.
Na, na, na.
I'm gonna smoke till I'm high. Then she's gonna read a book. We're gonna take a look and learn about how we became human. I know that don't fit, but that's okay. I'll work on it. Maybe Panda Cat or fucking, one of those dudes will help me out. You know what I'm saying? Coffee music made me a cool beat. And it'll sound cool. That's all it needs to do. Because you take away the beat from Island Boys, and man, they sound like shit. You give them a beat, and you will not believe what they sound like. You're gonna be like, holy shit! I play it for you guys all the time. You guys don't believe me, but it is.
We speak the truth. Oh, thanks.
So we just did a show called The Slow Burn. We've been doing this for a while now. But on a slow burn, we smoked some RootZ muffins. It probably came from the Cookies crew. I think it's good weed. I could go fishing on this, riding bikes, fucking shooting guns, going to work. Amber, she thought she was doing good.
I thought I was doing okay.
Amber thought she was doing, she's like, I'm in slow mo. I'm like, will you be able to read?
I crashed and burned. I kind of did a little crash and burn. I was doing good, and then I slowed right the fuck down.
Austin Groves 916, what up?
So, yeah, we're slow-moing it now.
I'm not in slow-mo. I'm doing really good. Like, it's more of a right here high for me. It's a little bit in the head. It's a little bit like, it feels like cotton in my head. It's not quite fog. It's like cotton. So, and my body is a little bit like right here. It's like, I can feel it. Like, it's like pain reliever or something. Yeah. It's got some of the stuff in it.
It's got some stuff.
Yeah. And I feel it in the top of my body a bit. But the legs are good. Mouth, lips work great. I'm not slurring. My weed had me going, shit. I bite my tongue and bite my cheek all the time because I'm so fucking. But yeah, RootZ Muffin did her real nice. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of the Alpha RootZ for me, that she has that effect. Like the Alpha RootZ, I was like, shit. Man. That's gelato.
We went floating.
Gelato Skittles cross, everybody. Gelato Skittles cross. Ganja Gospel. Pull up your stoner bongs and joints. Grab a joint out of the gathering tray. What do we call that? We should call it the offering tray.
It's a bowl. It's a bowl.
I offer the weed to you.
The Ganja bowl of offering.
The Ganja bowl of offering.
The Ganja bowl of offering.
As the Ganja bowl of offering is passed around, grab a joint or two and smoke it. You have greedy dudes going,
I know.
Got some later, man. The fucking thing comes around.
That's not what you're here for.
I'm like, hey, everyone's got a joint, right? Half the crew's like, no. I'm like, wait, what?
Where did it start?
Then we got to start frisking people, putting them up against the wall on fucking at church and frisking them for our drugs. Where's our fucking weed? Where's shakedown for our fucking weed at church? I mean, come on, man. This is gonna get serious, bro. Where's the fucking drugs, man?
Damn it. We can't have church without our fucking weed.
Don't make me turn you upside down and shake you, bro, for your lunch money. Come on now. Give up that motherfucking joint, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Budsville, what up? I'm a dirdoom. Doom. I'm a dirdoom. I'm in dirdoom.
Cheers, I'm on Budsville.
I like
Austin,
saying it, the whole thing fast.
Benny,
I'm in dirdoom.
Ray.
Does that sound right?
I'm under doom.
Because you know when they say
I'm under doom.
and they're probably
is there an
probably
E
has
is it Dume
a pronunciation and a language behind that.
I know.
Not English.
This is why I say everything.
It don't sound like white boy to me.
I say everything that is within a different type of language other than English with a Hispanic twist, because Spanish is the other language that I semi know. So everything has a Spanish twang to it when I fucking say it. I can't help it. But sometimes I'll go even really like, for some reason I'll be like French for some reason and like like your D-U-M-M-E, for some reason I'll be like, is it Dume? Like, is there an A? Is it fancy? Is there a fancy little twang at the end?
Twang.
Because, you know, I could get fancy.
Or is it say Imander?
It's German. Oh, it's
Imander,
so not fancy.
I knew it was Doom. Dumb. Quite dumb.
He's probably here's the Dume like, oh, that's so far off.
I'm in Durdum. Yeah, man. Iman, you should fucking know this stuff. We watch a lot of these, like Black. What is it? Dark. It's German. I think it's German. It might be Polish. One of those fucking countries. They're all the same to us, man. But they're all culturalistically cool. But Dark. I think it's Dark. And they go through time travel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and they got a lot of those.
We
cool
never really
names,
finished that one, didn't
like
we?
Borscht.
We keep restarting.
Borscht. No, we watched the last one. We're waiting
we?
for the new season, remember?
I will when I probably watch the last one again and realize it was the last one. And I did see it.
Like Iman.
So many shows. Dude.
Iman was a dude's name in the show. And a couple other ones like Hyman. No, not Hyman. Buster. His first name was Buster.
That's a total prank call name right there. Excuse me.
So in the military, in the military, we were lucky enough to be in Hawaii for Halloween. One of the years we were there, because we're always somewhere in the world. We only were actually in Hawaii for certain periods of time, but even though that was our duty station, so we enjoyed it as much as possible, or else we were in some fucking crazy place. And so we were able to go to Halloween, and Halloween in Hawaii and Waikiki is fucking like to remember. You'll never forget that. If you're in your 20s and you want to go somewhere to never forget, go to Hawaii for Halloween and go just walk down the street if you ain't got no money. It's fucking amazing. You'll see the most crazy shit you ever seen in your life there. I've seen more tinfoil costumes than I ever seen in my life, but that's probably what it was. These younger people didn't have the money, so they were like, I'm still going to go do it. And then they made all these tinfoil. People had dresses on. People had this on, that on. It's all tinfoil made. Yeah, it was wild. So I walked around with a video camera. But it's super, super fun. But this one dude walked around. He was a corpsman or like a doctor or something like that. One of the nurses or whatever in the military, in the doctor area. So he was able to get the forceps things that when you go in and get your pap smeared, that spreads it out, the duckbill. So he had that, and he had some other fucking tongue fucking thing, whatever you get your pap smeared with. He had these things. You know how they smear the pap? They got to spread it open. They got this other tool. It looks like a knife, and they smear it. That's why they call it the pap smear. They smear it. And so he had these two things, and his name was Busta Hyman. Dr. Busta Hyman.
Oh my God.
That was his thing. And he had blood all over his fucking shit. Like,
dude, that is not right.
Like he went in to check the girl, and it busted the hymen all over his. It was great. The greatest costume ever. I know I had to explain it, and I probably didn't have to explain it, but that's the whole thing about it. Oh, it's so perfect. Like he was the one.
That's cringeworthy there.
He was busting that hymen.
Cringe-worthy.
I don't get it. Did you get it now? Oh yeah, we're in Ganja Gospel. Shit.
Yes, we are. We need to reel it in, baby.
In the beginning,
time to go to the.
In the
time
beginning,
to go to the tablets.
There was ganja. Then man came along and picked it and said, "Oh fuck yeah! Can I get oh fuck yeah?
Oh fuck yeah!" Let's find out what happened in the 7th tablet.
Let's find out what happened in the premature chapter.
So last time, the synopsis of the 7th tablet.
Ganja Gospel Bible.
Returned to the Abzu, Adamu and Tiamat bear children. Earthlings proliferate, working in the mines and as servants. Enlil's grandchildren, the twins, Utu and Inanna, are born. Anunnaki couples bear other offspring on Earth. Climate changes cause hardships on Earth and on Lamu. Nibiru's orbital nearing is accompanied by upheavals. Enki and Marduk explore the moon and find it inhospitable. Enki determines the constellations and celestial time. Bitter about his own fate, Enki promises supremacy to Marduk. Anu gives command of a new spaceport to Utu, not to Marduk.
You heard that right there. Let me just stop you real quick. So, Lord Enki, I know it's a prequel and everything, is super, super, super dope, important information right there. Don't ever forget that, Ra, Jesus, God. You know, Marduk was promised to be the last god. He was promised to rule after all the other ones were done ruling. He was promised this. Don't forget that shit. He's holding that in his mind.
Enki encounters and mates with 2 earthling females. One bears a son, Adapa, the other a daughter, Titi. Keeping his parenting a secret, Enki raises them as foundlings. Adapa, highly intelligent, becomes the first civilized man. Adapa and Titi mate, have 2 sons, Cain and Abel.
Don't you love how she says shit? She says it how it's pronounced, really. The white people say Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve, because they're fucking dumb. But, I mean, not that. But they don't know. They want us to not know. What they were was very clever in their spell crap. Their spelling. Get it? Spelling, right? Their spell work was them saying this shit. Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, right? They changed the spellings, the meanings, the names, and everything, right? A bell, ball, get it? Watch.
So right at the end of the 7th tablet is when they gave birth. So we didn't even get the names yet in the 8th tablet.
Yeah, but she read along. She read further. She read further last week. Yeah, remember? You read the next chapter because you got bored.
No, that was... Nope.
No, you read this thing, the prequel.
Oh, we did read that so that we can, because we're going to start doing that.
That's what I said.
At the end.
You read forward.
So, synopsis of the 8th tablet. This is what's happening now.
Let her smoke.
Let us smoke.
Let us smoke. We don't pray here. We smoke. We manifest in smoke. Some may call that praying, I guess, but you think really hard about the things you want to accomplish.
Spiritual.
And you put it out to things like this, the cosmos.
By the way,
the cosmos comes back to you.
Perfect time for this. It is a new moon.
Happy birthday, moon.
Moon energy right now. New moon energy.
Happy birthday, moon.
Manifestation is in the height of time right now. So,
happy birthday, moon.
Synopsis of the 8th tablet. Adapa's wide understanding amazes Nibiru's savants. On Anu's orders, Adapa is brought to Nibiru, an Earthling's first ever space journey. Enki reveals Adapa's parenting truth to Anu. Enki justifies his deed by the need for more food. Adapa is sent back to start farming and shepherding. Enlil and Enki create crop seeds and sheep lines. Ninurta teaches Cain crop cultivation.
Who created the seeds?
Enlil and Enki create crop seeds and sheep lines.
So you heard that. The two brothers created the animals and the plants.
Marduk teaches Abel shepherding and wool making. Fighting over water, Cain strikes and kills Abel. Cain is tried for murder, sentenced to exile. Adapa and Titi have other offspring who intermarry. On his deathbed, Adapa blesses his son Sati as his heir. A descendant, Enkime, is taken by Marduk to Lamu.
Okay, so now I want you to synopsis by TwizTD. of what that all just said. You heard it. There's 2 humans that they created that were upgraded away from the primitive worker race of slaves. Okay, there was a slave race on this planet. Call them what you want them. They were slaves. They were workers that didn't get paid that slavery. They were created as a tool and didn't know they ever existed for another purpose. They knew they were a tool. That's what they were made for. That's what they did. Your hammer doesn't know it could go for a ride down the street in your car. It doesn't care, right? It knows it wants to pound the crap out of nails. That's its purpose. See what I mean? That's the purpose of the slave race, was to be slaves. They created 2 humans that they bred together, making sons and daughters. The only civilized human from Earth on this planet was them and their children, and they interbred with each other. You might say, ew, that's gross. That's how their culture thrived. Okay, their seed, their DNA genetics were so pure that this was possible. They didn't make malfunctioning humans. They made perfect creations exactly like themselves. They had many sons and daughters that are all written about in all the books, in the Bibles and everything. And they don't write that they interbred. It's written that God provided wives for this guy, but God provided husbands. God didn't provide anything. They interbred with each other, making a bunch of West Virginian hillbillies, is what I was taught when I was growing up. Just kidding. Love you guys from West Virginia. I got family there. We play this game called
Fallout
76, and it's all West Virginian hillbilly Appalachia history stuff. So it's fun. So while I'm chapping, so here we heard it. 2 modern humans. I'm not saying they were us, okay, because you're going to hear throughout history of all kinds of different cultures, and there was multiple upgrades done to certain groups in different countries, cultures, places on the earth, the planet, everything. Not just us. It's not just us. We're human as a whole. But like, for one person to say, like, okay, Adam and Eve was the final upgrade. No, that's not true. That can't be true according to all this other evidence of other extraterrestrial alien races coming here and mixing DNA. There's people with 3 fingers and 3 toes, the whole race of them. Do you know their culture says that a 3-toed, 3-fingered ostrich-like person came down and bred with them and made them the way they are? That's in their history, their culture. Who are you to say that it's not? I'm not. I wasn't there, but it's really interesting, okay? So we got these 2 people interbreeding with each other. Bless you, cough you, whatever.
Cough you.
We hear one person took Cain, one of the Anunnaki, not a god, one of the Anunnaki took Cain and taught him how to grow the weed and grow all the grains. So they're teaching, you got 2 people. They gave birth to these 2 other people. Those 2 people grew up. We're going to keep these 2 people breeding and keep them in the knowledge so they can keep teaching people. As the next 2 people are born, we're going to put them to work as soon as they get big enough. Cain and Abel got big enough. They learned, they got to work. One did sheep and all the animals. When they say sheep and shit, you're talking about all the animals that they raised for food and milk and skin and all that kind of stuff. All those type of animals, everything Abel did. All the grain, all the weed, all the satiation shit that they brought and created from Nibiru, Cain did. Now here it is. They also created entire civilizations based on those 2 people. When I say civilization, in those times, a city of probably 28,000 people, all with your DNA genetic relation, that's probably a civilization. I would say I've done pretty fucking good. 20,000 people and they're all my fucking kids. Yeah, I'm cool. You know, so Cain and Abel each were given a place to be in the world. Here, you go take care of all these animals. Here's a wife for you because they genetically create wives, or they just pick their sisters. Their genetic sisters, not their half sisters, the genetic sisters. It went and started making people. Those people made more people, so on and so forth. Now they have whole crews of people doing stuff, but it always stems back to the original two when they talk. Why doesn't Adam and Eve just get lost in the sauce with all the sons and daughters? You know, Jesus is in there supposedly, but Jesus was never human. According to these writings, the actual person who died went to hell. There was a Holy Spirit involved, and they came back and became something else. That was never a human being on this planet. That was one of the Anunnaki that got killed on the exact time. Okay, so that you got to remember these things as we go forward, right? There's humans created. These two brothers are working on this project together now. They're in total agreement. All right, now we got tools. Let's put these dudes to work. And then remember, there's kingship coming up. This is Samaria we're talking about. When you say, where would this be, Twisted? Where? It's not Eden. They got kicked out of Eden. This is Samaria. We're literally talking about Samaria, the Sumerians right now. Adam and Eve being the founder, Adamu and Tiamat, right? Or TT. And they create Adapa and TT. Fuck, I always forget their fucking names. There's two pairs. Two pair. I got two pair. And they create a whole civilization known as Samaria, right? Now, later there's a king picked, and one of these named Cain gets banished. Pay attention to this part. I want you, because we're going to strictly focus on this at the end. Go ahead, baby.
Okay, the 8th tablet. Let Adapa, the earthling to Nibiru, be brought. So did Anu his decision declare. By the decision, Enlil was not pleased. Whoever of this would have thought. But that by a primitive worker fashioning, like us, the being would become. With knowledge endowed between heaven and earth will travel. On Nibiru, the waters of long life he will drink. The food of long life eat. Like one of us, Anunnaki, shall the one of earth become.
So they wanted him to be an Anunnaki by giving him the food of everlasting life and the water of everlasting life. Without these two things, you could not have prolonged life.
So was Enlil to Enki and the other leaders saying. By the decision of Anu, Enki too was not pleased. Sullen was his face after Anu had spoken. After Enlil had spoken, with Enlil his brother Enki agreed. Indeed, who of this would have thought? So to the others did Enki say. The brothers sat and contemplated. Ninmah with them was also deliberating. The command of Anu cannot be avoided, to them she said. By Adapa, by our young ones, to Nibiru be accompanied. His fright to diminish, to Anu things explain. So did Enki to the others say. Let Ningazida and Dumuzi his companions be. By the way, Nibiru for the first time with their eyes also see. By Ninmah was the suggestion favored. Our young ones, on earth born, of Nibiru are forgetting. Its life cycles by those of earth are overwhelmed. Let the two sons of Enki, as yet unmarried, to Nibiru also travel. Perchance brides there for themselves they shall find. When the next celestial chamber from Nibiru did arrive in Sipar, Ilibrat, a vizier of Anu, from the chamber stepped off. I have come to fetch the earthling Adapa, so to the leaders he said. The leaders to Ilibrat Adapa presented. Titi and her sons to him they also showed. Indeed, in our image and after our likeness they are, so did Ilibrat say. To Ilibrat, Ningazida and Dumuzi, sons of Enki, were presented. To accompany Adapa on his journey, they have been selected, to him Enki said. Anu, his grandchildren to see will be pleased, so did Ilibrat say. To hear instructions, Enki Adapa to him summoned. To Adapa thus he said, Adapa, to Nibiru, the planet whence we had come, you will be going. Before Anu, our king, you will come. To his majesty you will be presented. Before him you shall bow. Speak only when asked. To questions short answers give. New clothing you will be given. The new garments put on. A bread on earth not found they to you will give. The bread is death. Do not eat. In a chalice, an elixir to drink, they to you will give. The elixir is death. Do not drink. With you, Ningazita and Dumuzi, my sons will journey. To their words hearken, and you shall live. So did Enki Adapa instruct. This I shall remember, Adapa said. Enki.
Real quick.
Okay.
So Anu sees this creation. He's like, dude, you've done it. He's looking at Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, and he's like, you've done it, dude. Like they look exactly like us. So Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel looked exactly like the Anunnaki. Not saying that they look like us, but they looked exactly like the Anunnaki. So the people from Samaria, whatever they look like, they looked exactly like the Anunnaki. Okay. Now, Anu was like, oh, we gotta put our timestamp on these people. Is what he tried to do. And everyone else is like, oh, hell no. I don't want that. Like, they can't have our long life. Like, that's bullshit. They'll become one of us. Like, they're our tool. They gotta break. They gotta wear out. You know, calling their warranty and shit on these motherfuckers. And they didn't want it. So they're like, yo, look, when you go out there, they're going to give you this bread and they're going to give you this water, but you will die if you eat that. Don't eat that. If they had eaten that, if they had disobeyed, they probably would have died. They probably would have got killed by the Anunnaki. But, yo, our generations possibly could have longer life, right? Now, you see, all of the Anunnaki were amazed by the Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel creation. Nobody was like saying no to it at that point. Nobody was like, oh, that sucks. But what they were saying was, yo, wow, when we take him back, they didn't take Eve, they didn't take Cain and Abel, they took Adam. They only took Adam, the man, Adapa. They only took the man, right? The true original, right? The bringer of the seed. Not that a woman's not important, because you're going to find out how important I think the woman is that most people forgot about. Most men that are waking up now, and that's why I think some of the switches happening, like it's happening too soon, and dudes think they're women. It's not it. That's the feminine waking up in you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe. But anyway, so check this out. Without the feminine, you can't be, right? That's where the cross takes away the feminine. We're going to show you how the Ankh has the feminine in there, and we're going to show you who the actual Holy Ghost is. But you see the importance. They say the third generation, the X generation, the what's it called? The millennials, they're being born on Earth. The Anunnaki that are being born on Earth, the radiation from our sun is affecting them so bad that they are turning into human. They're not having the long life. They're not having the big size, the big muscles, whatever color they may be. All of that's going away. Whatever eye color they have, all of that was going away to where, this is just truth. You'll find out. We're going to discover this in every single culture. Even the dark skin cultures report a white skin, blue-eyed, white beard, white-haired God. I'm not saying that it's Santa Claus. I'm not saying it's your Bible. I'm saying it's radiation poisoning that happened. And they write about it. They had to go back to their planet. Let's hear about it some more.
Enki, Ninkazita, and Dumuzi summoned. To them a blessing and advice he gave. Before Anu the king, my father, you are coming. To him you shall bow and homage pay. By princes and nobles do not be coward. Of them you are the equals. To bring Adapa back to earth is your mission. by Nibiru's delights, be not charmed. This we shall remember, Ningazida and Dumuzi said. His young one, Dumuzi, Enki embraced. On the forehead he kissed him. The wise one, Ningazida, Enki embraced. On the forehead he kissed him. A sealed tablet in the hand of Ningazida, unseen, he placed. To my father Anu, this tablet in secret you shall give. So did Enki to Ningazida say. Then the two with Adapa to Sipar departed. To the place of the celestial chariots they went.
So in Sipar, right? Sipar, you guys can look that place up on our map today.
Sippar.
Sipar is how they call it. Sipar, right? However you want to say it, pronounce it. You can find that place on our planet today, and you're going to look at there's a cathedral on top of this bitch, right? But you're going to know there's huge blocks that are that platform that thing's built on. You just heard what she said it was. In that time, it was a what?
Oh gosh!
It's right at the last piece, right where you were.
To my father, this tablet in secret. So, where was I? The two with Adapa to Sipar departed. To the place of the celestial chariots they went.
The place of the celestial chariots is in Sipar, right?
Okay. I lost my line.
That's okay.
When I do
I
that.
thought you were touching it.
I thought I was too until I looked down and my finger moved.
That's Toki. We should have a bell. That's a roach.
Roached.
So these are important things I want to point out too. This is what I do. Is when you look at all these places on the earth, like the Temple Rock, and they say they're waiting for God to come and land on that. Well, you better move all that shit off that platform. Because when he lands, he's going to burn the shit out of all that stuff with his damn engine fucking backwash. That's what landed there was spaceships. Say I'm wrong, we're going to point it out right here. Boom, celestial chariot. What is a celestial chariot? You prove to me that it's some kind of a horse-driven carriage, and I'll stop everything. I'll just shut up and go that way.
To Illibrat, Anu's vizier, the three of them themselves presented. To Ningazida and Dumuzi, the garb of Igigi was given. Like celestial eagles, they were dressed. As for Adapa, his unkempt hair was shaven. A helmet as that of an eagle he was given. Instead of his loincloth, a tight-fitting vestment he was made to wear.
So never before has he ever worn clothes or ever cut his hair. His hair was all fucked up. He had a beard and all crazy and shit, and he wore only a loincloth. So when you see all these people naked, like, why were they naked if all the Anunnaki had technology and clothes? I don't know. For some reason, they didn't make them clothes, but here they get him clothes.
Between Ningazida and Dumuzi, inside that which ascends, he was placed. When the signal was given, the celestial chariot roared and shuddered. In fright did Adapa cower and cry out. The eagle without wings is soaring. Upon his sides, Ningazida and Dumuzi their arms placed. With soothing words they him calmed. When 1 league aloft they were borne, upon the earth they glanced out. Its lands they saw, by seas and oceans into parts separated. When 2 leagues aloft they were, the ocean to a tub grew smaller, and the land was the size of a basket. With 3 leagues aloft they were. Again they cast a glance, whence they had departed. The earth was now as a small ball, by a sea of darkness, and the vastness swallowed. Once again.
1 second. So, 1 league out, you can only see land and the oceans being separated by this land. Flat earthers. Okay, there's a bee in here.
I know. He was
2 leagues out, I guarantee at that point you could see it was round. I guarantee you could see it was a ball. A ball, not a flat surface, not circular. A ball, right? They always call it ball, circular circumference, right? At 3 leagues out, they could completely see it was a little blue ball in the darkness of space. They didn't say nothing about stars because that's what's the fakeness. When you see space, you wouldn't see stars. You know why you could see stars? Because of our atmosphere. It's the reflection. The light has to hit something for you to see it. Like when you look out in darkness, there's nothing there. until you shine light, and that light hits stuff, and you're like, oh shit, all that stuff's there. Holy crap, I would have died if I went that way. Same thing. You don't know anything's in the darkness until there's light. God said, let there be light. Go ahead.
Once again, Adapa, agitated was. He cowered and cried out. Take me back, he shouted. Ningazita, his hand on the neck of Adapa, put. In an instant was Adapa quiet.
Dude, he gave him the Vulcan neck pinch. The Vulcan neck pinch right here. This is where they got it from Star Trek, dude. Swear to God. Swear to God.
When they on Nibiru landed, there was much curiosity. The children of Enki, on earth born, to see, even more so, an earthling to encounter. A being from another world on Nibiru has arrived. So were the crowds shouting.
Never before. And however old they were here on our earth for 1 million years already. Yeah. However old they are, never before had they ever seen another being ever in the whole, wherever they've been, ever come to Nibiru. That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
With Illibrat to the palace, they were taken to be washed and with perfumed oils anointed. Fresh and befitting garments they were given. Mushy, mushy.
Mushy, mushy.
Heeding Enki's words, Adapa, the new clothing, did put on. In the palace, nobles and heroes milled about. In the throne room, princes and counselors gathered. To the throne room, by Illibrat, they were led. Adapa behind him, then the 2 sons of Enki. In the throne room, before Anu, the king, they bowed. From his throne, Anu stepped forward. My grandsons, he cried out. He hugged Dumuzi, he hugged Ningazita. With tears in his eyes, he embraced them, he kissed them. To his right, Dumuzi, he bade to be seated. On his left, Ningazita sat.
Boom.
Then Illibrat to Anu, the earthling Adapa presented. Does he our speech understand? Anu, the king of Illibrat, inquired.
Sure do.
Indeed he does. By the Lord Enki, he was taught. Illibrat so answered. Come hither, Anu to Adapa said. What is your name and your occupation? Forward Adapa stepped. Again he bowed. Adapa is my name, of the Lord Enki, a servant. So did Adapa in words speak.
A servant. That's his occupation. He said to the king of a world, a king of a different world, I'm the servant of Lord Enki. That's some shit.
Forward Adapa stepped. Again he bowed. Adapa is my name, of the Lord Enki, a servant. So did Adapa in words speak. His speaking great amazement was causing. A wonder of wonders on earth has been attained.
The true faith is enlightenment and ascension. That's what I'm pointing out to everybody. We'll get there, though.
Anu declared. A wonder of wonders on earth has been attained. All the assemble shouted.
Yes.
Let there a celebration be. Let us our guests thus welcome, Anu was saying. Let there a celebration be. Oops, I just fucking read that, sorry.
Oh, shit. Consciousness is a bitch.
To the banquet room, Anu, all who were assembled led. To the laden tables he happily gestured. At the laden tables, bread of Nibiru, Adapa was offered. He did not eat it. At the laden tables, elixir of Nibiru, Adapa was offered. He did not drink it. By this Anu, the king, was puzzled, was offended. Why was Enki to Nibiru, this ill-mannered earthling, sent to him the celestial ways reveal? Come now, Adapa.
There's a
To
ghost right
Adapa,
there.
Anu said, why did you neither eat nor drink? Our hospitality rejected? My master, the Lord Enki, commanded me, the bread do not eat, the elixir do not drink. So did Adapa, the king, and Anu answer. How odd is this thing, Anu was saying, for what has Enki from an earthling our food and elixir prevented?
Yeah.
He asked Illibrat. He asked Dumuzi. Illibrat, the answer knew not. Dumuzi could not explain. He asked Ningazita. Perchance in this lies the answer. Ningazita to Anu said. The secret tablet that he carried hidden to Anu the king he then gave. Puzzled was Anu. Anu was concerned. To his private chamber he went, the tablet to decipher. Now this is the account of Adapa, of civilized mankind, the progenitor, and how by his sons Cain and Abel satiated on earth was started.
Yes.
Satiation on earth was started.
Satiation. That means they started feeding and clothing everybody that lived on earth. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. And the truth will set you free. At the end of everyone's days, that's when they will know the truth. So all these lies that everyone's being told about how the past was and how religion is and all that kind of stuff, they'll all be revealed at the end. And it's really all who you pray to. If you pray to somebody, you will probably be seeing that dude at the end. You know what I mean? Whoever you think might it be. So here we got this recollection here of saying that when they say the one specific word of God, here it's multiple different people that they're actually saying was involved with those situations. And sometimes the one person that was in it the first time wasn't even involved in it the second time. It was a completely different person associated with this person over here or by themselves. Sometimes it was a group that in these other books that we look at in religion say that it was God that did that. But in this thing here, it's saying that it's a bunch of different things, a bunch of different people all at the same time, or maybe one person, or this guy's over here. This guy's got nukes. This guy is called Marduk's called Ra now. You know what I mean? So the truth is there. And that's what we got to do is we got to come together as humans. We got to put our knowledge together and find there might be a missing piece. That's what I'm trying to find. This puzzle is huge. It's huge. Everyone's got the pieces to it, right? And that's what they know. You guys remember that movie? What was that? Occupation or First Contact or some shit when that weird ass fucking rice looking thing came down and they had to go in the thing and all their reality was different. And what it was these beings lived in clouds. And they were like an octopus, but they would look like a giant hand. And they lived in a cloud. And their environment was this cloud that they had to live in on the ship. And to talk to them, there was tons of ships all over the planet. And they would put their finger up. They'd put their finger up and that circle would come up. And they had to figure out the frequency of the circle to be able to see what the circle said. Well, then they figured out, well, not only one circle had the whole answer, all the circles put together had the whole story, and it was a warning. It was a holy shit moment. Oh, God, why didn't we figure this out years ago? It's too late kind of thing. That's exactly what they've done with religion and all this other truth. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong or right or anything, but why isn't it one thing? Here's your truth, honest to God truth. No one else has a different story. Here's what happened. Here's why we are who we are from the beginning. Nothing but the truth. No one has a different question. No one has a different story. But it's not like that. They went, shot it all over the planet, buried it so deep, volcanoes have destroyed it. They've burned civilizations to cover up. It's been put in vaults, put in the Vatican. Everyone's got their finger out with one ring that has one little tiny piece of information on it. And for some reason, no one's doing this with their rings. You have to do this with your rings, the come togetherness. And that's why they separated people. Your color goes this way. Your color goes that way. Oh, that wasn't good enough. Okay. Your religion goes this way. You guys are going to go that way because you're that religion. No one ever is going to hold hands again and join fingers and go, oh, dude, these all say this. Hold up. Like in between, there's going to be something missing. And that is going to be the truth. There's where the truth is going to be. So we first have to dig through all the shit. And that's what we're doing. We're just reading books. We're reading books aloud by Amber Lalana. So if you choose to listen, then listen. If you don't choose to listen, then don't listen. We will be doing like the Odyssey, different things like that, because this is part of the story. These are the heroes and men of renown. You think they were 6 foot tall people. I'm telling you, they were 10 foot plus giants. I'm telling you this. We're going to find out. Let's go, baby.
All right. In his private chamber, Anu, the tablet seal broke open. Into the scanner, the tablet he inserted. Its message from Enki to decipher. Adapa, by my seed, to an earthling woman was born. So did the message from Enki say. Likewise was Titi, by another earthling woman of my seed, conceived. With wisdom and speech they are endowed. With Nibiru's long lifetime they are not. The bread of long living he should not eat.
Not Nephilim yet.
The elixir of long life he should not drink.
Son.
To live and die on earth, Adapa must return. Mortality his lot must be. By the showing and shepherding, by his offspring and earth's satiation shall be. So did Enki, the secret of Adapa, to his father Anu reveal. By the secret message from Enki, Anu was astounded. Whether to angry be or laugh, he knew not. Ilibrat, his vizier, to his private chamber he summoned. To him he thus said, That son of mine, Ea, even as Enki, his free ways with females has not mended. To Ilibrat, his vizier, the message on the tablet he showed. What are the rules? What is the king to do? Of his vizier Anu inquired. Concubines by our rules are permitted. Of interplanetary cohabitation, no rules exist. So did Ilibrat to the king respond.
So basically you could go to any planet and bang any animal, because that's what we are. To them, we are an animal. So you can go on any planet, bang any animal, create any other creation, and it's cool.
If damage there be, let it be restricted. Let Adapa forthwith to earth be returned. Let Ningazita and Dumuzi longer stay. Anu then Ningazita to his private chamber summoned. Anu, you what your father's message know you what your father's message said? Of Ningazita he inquired. Ningazita his head lowered, with whispering voice he said, I know not, but guess I can. The life essence of Adapa I have tested. Of Enki's seed he is. That indeed is the message. To him Anu said, Adapa to earth forthwith shall return.
So they did a DNA test. And for sure, that is Lord Enki's children. Okay? The whole line, Adam and Eve, is Lord Enki's children, right? All their kids are going to be Lord Enki. Now, this is the first time that one of them has actually had sexual intercourse and put a penis in a vagina and shot the semen in there, just being real graphic because this is what it is, and made a child, and it worked. Okay, now you're going to know one son said Nephilim. Maybe he was talking about when I was talking about the Odyssey and stuff like that. That's kind of true. That's the son of some of them. But the Adam and Eve are not the Nephilim, because you're going to hear that Lord Enki actually has the holy seed, which is different. It's different. He was able to make perfect copies. And later, they had to have kept it going because they had something called the Me formulas, which they perfected the human creation.
To be of civilized man, a progeniture his destiny shall be. As for you, Ningazita, to earth with Adapa you shall return. Of civilized mankind at your father's side to become the teacher. So did Anu, the king, the decision make. The destiny of Adapa and Ningazita he determined. To the assembled savants and nobles, princes and counselors, Anu and the other two returned. To the assembled words of decision, Anu announced, the welcome to the earthling must not be overextended. On our planet, he cannot eat or drink. Of his astounding abilities we have all seen. Let him to earth return.
He's got to go before he dies. He can only live for like 3 days without food and water. Like he can't drink or eat any of their food, period, because their food is high frequency gold and crystal food. I guarantee it, because they're crystalline beings. They're not carbon based. They're crystalline based. You heard it. Everything they do is crystals. They come from what we would say is a sun. We would say it's a sun. If we went there, scientists went there, we would say it was a sun. They would report back there's a sun here, a brown dwarf. That's what it is.
Let his offspring there on earth fields till and in meadows shepherd. To ensure his safety and avoid his agitation, Ningazida with him will travel. With him the seeds of Nibiru of grains which multiply to earth will be sent. Dumuzi, the youngest, for a shar with us shall stay. Then to earth with ewes and the essence of sheep he shall return.
So Dumuzi, super important. Don't ever forget Dumuzi's name. I blow people's mind with the name Dumuzi. Just look him up. Just go research Dumuzi. Follow his path. You're going to find out who he really is and how they made a story up called Jesus. It's crazy. Dumuzi is on. So for 3,600 years, you got to get this straight. 3,600 years, they come back. They plant grain. 3,600 years, this grain's all growing, right? Now they're about to bring sheep and ewes to eat it all. You know, they're feeding the people too, but they had to get it going, established, get it with fucking plant the whole goddamn place with fucking fields and shit. What they had to do, they cut down trees, obviously, to do this shit because there was forests everywhere. And then for a whole year, one shar, 3,600 years of ours, Dumuzi stays on Nibiru, getting all the ewes ready. They were genetically creating these things.
This was the decision of Anu. To the king's words, all in agreement, their heads bowed. At the appointed time, Ningazida and Adapa to the place of the celestial chariots were taken. Anu and Dumuzi, Ilibrat and counselors, nobles and heroes to them farewell bade. There was roaring and shuddering, and the chariot was lofted.
So on their planet, they have a celestial chariot place too, a place where spaceships are sitting there and they get to fly off their planet. They see it from space. This is not an island, right? They're seeing the darkness of space, right? So they're flying from their planet all the way back to our planet, and they're going to land on our celestial chariot's landing pad, where now they have the Dome of the Rock, and people bash their head on a rock and think something. I don't know what the fuck happened over there. That's just crazy.
The planet Nibiru grows smaller, they saw. Then from horizon to zenith, the heavens they saw. On their journey, Ningazida to Adapa, the planet gods explained. Of sun and earth and the moon, to him lessons he gave. Of how the months chase one another, and how earth's year is counted him he taught. When to earth they returned to his father Enki, Ningazida, all that had happened related.
So Ningazida made sure, as he was in space, flying past all this shit, he was making sure Adam, in your Bible, Adapa, he made sure he reiterated these stories that were taught to him, that he could see it in person, see how it works, see it in real life. And then they came back to Earth and was like, yo, dad, because, you know, that's Lord Enki is Ningazida's dad. So he's like, yo, pops, we flew over there. It was all good. He didn't eat. He didn't drink. We had to bring him back real quick. And I showed him all about the stars, the months, how the fucking Earth is spinning and shit, how the moon fucking gets made, and how it's full on this side, but not, we think it's a dark side. All the people on Earth think it's a dark side, but look, there's a full moon over here because it's spinning around. Yeah, it's cool. I know it's cool. So he taught him all that, and they're back on Earth now.
Enki laughed and struck his loins. It all went as expected. With glee, he said, yes. Except the detention of Dumuzi. That is to me a puzzle, so did Enki say. By the prompt return of Ningazida and Adapa, Enlil was greatly puzzled. What is the matter? What on Nibiru transpired of Enki and and Ningazida, he inquired. Let Ninma too be summoned. Let her too of what transpired here, Enki to him said. After Ninma arrived, to Enlil and to her, Ningazida, all did tell. Enki, his cohabitation with the earthling females also related. No rules have I broken, our satiation I have ensured, so Enki to them said. No rules did you break, the fates of Anunnaki and earthlings, by a rash deed you determined. So did Enlil in anger say. Now the lot is cast, destiny by fate is overtaken.
Go ahead. Finish that story, that sentence.
Okay. With fury was Enlil seized, with anger he turned and left them standing. To Eridu Marduk came, by his mother Damkina was he summoned. The odd goings to verify of his father and brother he demanded. To keep the secret from Marduk hidden, father and brother decided. Anu, by the civilized man, was enthralled. To at once all on earth satiate he commanded. So they to Marduk only part of the truth revealed. By Adapa and Titi.
Still going?
I don't know. Do you want me to stop now?
Yeah, why don't you just read the sentence?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you guys got to remember something here. When they were on Earth, they were looking out at the crowd of Anunnaki. And they were like, okay, you guys look normal, but what the fuck's up with your kids? Your kids are looking not like us, bro. Why are they looking different? So they're like, yo, I need to take that generation back with me. So who did he take? He took Ningazida and Dumuzi. Dumuzi is generation millennials. He's a millennial. So they took him back. They kept him there for a reason. He had to genetically build sheep. But also, it was a test. They were testing to see if by bringing them back to the high frequency on Nibiru, if that would fix the problem of how the fuck they looked. You know what I'm saying? They were like losing. What if we were humans and we went in space and all of a sudden we turned super long and green with big ass heads and black eyes? What if that happened to humans? Well, to stay our human form, we have to keep coming back to our rich atmosphere in 1G, right? We'd have to come back to this atmosphere and sustain ourselves. So this was the test that they actually forgot about. I'm laughing because he's pissed. He's like, what? You just took the music. That's his like youngest son, right? So he's like, you took the music. Why are you keeping him? What did I do? I thought you guys were happy with me. And they're like, what? Why are you tripping, dude? And it's funny though. I think it's funny that they forgot that they just had said, hey, we're going to take him because they're not looking great. We're going to see if we can fix them up and send them back. They totally forgot. All right, go ahead. Maybe I'm lying.
To Eridu Marduk came, by his mother Damkina was he summoned. The odd goings to verify of his father and brother he demanded. To keep the secret from Marduk hidden, father and brother decided. Anu by the civilized man was enthralled. To at once all on earth satiate he commanded. So they to Marduk only part of the truth revealed. By Adapa and Titi, Marduk was impressed.
So God's lying. They're lusting for chicks. Enki lusts for chicks all the time. Even his dad said, I gave him a higher rank, made him in charge of some shit, and here he's still lusting for chicks. And now here they're all lying about shit, keeping shit from each other.
By Adapa and Titi, Marduk was impressed. To the boys he took a liking. While Ningazida Adapa is instructing, let me the boys' teacher be. So did Marduk to his father Enki and to Enlil say. Let Marduk teach one, let Ninurta teach the other. To them Enlil responded. In Eridu, Ningazida with Adapa and Titi stayed. Numbers and writing Adapa he taught. The twin, who was first in birth, Ninurta, to Bad Tabira his city took. Ka'in, who was in the field food grows, he called him. He who in the field food grows. That's what the name means, Ka'in.
That's Cain in your Bible.
To dig canals for watering, he taught him. Sowing and reaping, he was teaching. A plow from the wood of trees, Ninurta for Ka'in made. With it, a tiller of the land to be.
So basically, he taught him everything you need to know about being a farm, building a plow, tilling the ground, cutting a ditch and dike. Because remember, there's ditch and dike. I think Zeta was actually the dude for that too. He had to cut the ditch for irrigation. So this was Cain.
The other brother, son of Adapa, by Marduk to the meadows was taken. Abel, he of the watered meadows, his name was thereafter called. How to build stalls Marduk taught for shepherding to start. The return of Dumuzi they awaited. When the Shar was completed, Dumuzi to earth returned. The essence seed of sheep, ewes for the growing with him he brought. Four-legged animals of Nibiru to another planet, the earth he conveyed. His return with essence, seed, and ewes was cause for much celebration. Into the care of his father Enki, Dumuzi with his precious cargo returned. The leaders then got together. How to proceed with the new breed they considered. Never before was there an ewe on earth. A lamb has never to earth from the heavens been dropped.
You heard that. Never before. They had all kinds of fucking animals here. They came here. They never saw a serpent before. Let that be known. When they came to earth, never before on Nibiru have they ever seen a serpent. That means no one of them have evolved from a serpent. Okay, that's what that means. That's what that means. And when they got here, there was no sheep. That's what a ewe is, a sheep. They brought the sheep here. The four-legged farm animal. They brought that shit here. That's fucking awesome.
Never before was there an ewe on earth. A lamb has never to earth from the heavens been dropped. A she-goat has never before to her kid given birth. Weaving of sheep's wool has never before been established.
So you go, man.
The Anunnaki leaders, Enki and Enlil, Ninmah and Ningazita, who the creators were, a creation chamber, a house of fashioning to establish, decided. Upon the pure mound of the landing place, in the Cedar Mountains, it was established.
Right.
Near where the elixir seeds by Ninmah brought were planted, there was the creation chamber established. There was the multiplying of the grains, and of the ewes on earth began. Of Cain, for sowing and reaping, Ninurta was the mentor.
So we can look that up. You know that?
Yes, we can. Of Abel, the arts of ewe and lamb rearing and shepherding, Marduk was the mentor. When the first crops were reaped, when the first sheep matured, let there be a celebration of firsts. Enlil a decree proclaimed.
There's a genetics lab up there in those Cedar Mountains.
There is indeed, right where the first of the cannabis seed was planted and grown. The elixir.
The elixir of life.
Before the assembled Anunnaki, the first grains, the first lambs were presented. At the feet of Enlil and Enki, Cain, by Ninurta guided, his offering placed. At the feet of Enlil and Enki, Abel, by Marduk guided, his offering placed. Enlil to the brothers gave a joyful blessing, their labors he extolled. Enki, his son Marduk embraced, the lamb for all to see he raised. Meat for eating, wool for wearing, to earth have come, Enki said.
Oil.
Now, this is the account of the generations of Adapa.
Hold on one second. So if you guys are paying attention, if you're tick-tocking with the time, right? I kind of forgot to until right now. I just remembered, oh shit, I'm supposed to be ticking time. So we've already heard that 3,600 years went by. One Shar went by. They had all this grain going and shit. Then Dumuzi comes back after that one Shar. He brings the lambs. They make a genetics lab. They start getting these things from either blood samples. They got DNA samples is what they got. And they can make this DNA sample in a test tube grow into whatever the fuck it is. That's how geneticists do it, right? So they got a genetics lab. They got the essence, right? That's the DNA, blood, whether it be sperm and an egg, whatever it may be. It's the essence, okay? The DNA of this thing. They got a genetics lab. Another Shar goes by and everything's rolling good. They got all kinds of fucking animals everywhere. There's fucking people everywhere run around naked. There's grain everywhere growing. Every civilized man is doing great, man. It is kicking off like clockwork. And you heard there was how many? 4? I think there was 4 creators of it all. 4.
Yes.
All brothers and sisters is what it was.
The Anunnaki leaders, Enki and Enlil, Ninmah and Ningazida, who the creators were.
4. So brothers and sisters and Ningazida the son of Lord Enki.
Now this is the account of the generations of Adapa and the killing of Abel and the killing of Abel by Cain and what thereafter transpired. After the celebration of first was over, sullen was Cain's face. By the lack of Enki's blessings, greatly he was aggrieved. As to their tasks, the brothers returned. Abel, before his brother, was boasting. I am the one who abundance brings, who the Anunnaki satiates, who gives strength to the heroes, who wool for their clothing provides. Cain, by his brother's words, was offended. To his boasting strongly he objected. It is I who the plains luxuriates, who furrows with grains make heavy, in whose fields birds multiply, in whose canals fish become abundant.
Jealousy.
Sustaining bread by me is produced, with fish and fowl the Anunnaki's diet I variate.
Yeah. What do you call that? Glutton and jealousy? What do you call it when you're boasting? Not being humble. When you're
definitely
showing
not
off.
being humble.
like ha 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 ha. Now, mind
He's
you,
very envious of his brother, and he wants to be on top.
So here they are. They're talking to Lord Enki right now.
They're talking to each other.
No. He brought all his stuff to Lord Enki. And Lord Enki was like, oh, man, great job, dude. You're fucking doing awesome. You're feeding everybody. Doing
and
great.
The celebration of first, yes.
The celebration of first.
Yes.
This is in your Bible. It talks about God takes one over the other, which starts this argument of jealousy. And Cain can't take it because he's got PTSD from the whole situation, obviously. And he cracks his dude in the back of the head. Which is some they know a story in the Bible.
That's true.
That's your Bible story. There, God chose one over the other. So God picked a favorite, is what it is. Peace out. God picked a favorite, one over the other, okay? Which is already separation to a human. You can't do that to the psyche. This is the problem, right? Sheeple. You know what I'm talking about. They created you to be a sheeple. Break the cycle is what it is. Here, let's keep going with this because this is fascinating shit right here.
On and on the brothers each other disputed. Through the winter time they argued. When summer began, it was not raining. The meadows were dry.
A whole year.
The pastures dwindled.
They bitched and fought, not working, not doing what they're supposed to. They fought with each other.
Into the fields of his brother Abel his flocks drove, from the furrows and the canals to drink water.
Eating and shitting.
By this Cain was angered. To move the flocks away, his brother he commanded.
He's got a bud wash.
Farmer and shepherd, brother and brother, words of accusation uttered. They spat on each other. With their fists they fought. Greatly enraged, Cain a stone picked up. With it he and Abel in the head struck.
Boom.
Again and again he hit him until Abel fell, his blood from him gushing.
So he bashed his head in. Your Bible never told me that. You know, he literally, like a psychotic fool, bashed his brother's head in.
When Cain his brother's blood saw, Abel, my brother, he shouted. Motionless on the ground did Abel remain.
Now they're giants.
From him his soul had departed. By the brother whom he had killed, Cain remained. For a long time he sat crying. Titi, it was, who was of the killing, was the first to know by a premonition. In a dream vision, as she was sleeping,
connected.
Abel's blood she saw. In the hand of Cain it was.
You see how the humans were connected back then, psychically connected because they were of the same seed. Just like mothers with twins. I don't know if you have this, but it said that when mothers breastfeed, there's some kind of connection with the child that like the breast will hurt if the child's in trouble. I don't know, something like that. But there's connections with twins and mothers, and it's weird like that. That's how humans were seriously connected back then.
Adapa from his sleep she awakened. Her dream vision to him she told. A heavy sorrow fills my heart. Did something terrifying happen? So did TT to Adapa say. Greatly agitated she was. In the morning, the two from Iridu departed to the whereabouts of Cain and Abel they went. In the field they found Cain. By the dead Abel he was still seated. A great cry of agony, TT shouted. Adapa spread mud on his head. What have you done? What have you done? To Cain they shouted. Silence was Cain's answer. To the ground he threw himself and wept. To Iridu city Adapa returned. What had happened to the Lord Enki, he told. With fury Enki Cain confronted. Accursed you shall be, to him he said. From the Eden you must depart. Among Anunnaki and civilized earthlings you shall not stay. As to Abel, in the fields his body cannot for the As to Abel, in the fields his body cannot for the wild birds remain. As the Anunnaki custom is, he in a grave below a stone pile shall be buried.
So, according to the Anunnaki, their custom is to bury you under the ground and put stones on top and marking the grave with a headstone. Right?
How Abel to bury Enki to Adapa and TT showed, for the custom to them was not known. For 30 days and 30 nights was Abel by his parents mourned. To Iridu for judgment Cain was brought, the exile sentence to pronounce Enki wished. For his deed, Cain himself must be slain, so did Marduk with anger say. Let the 7 who judge be assembled, so did Ninurta of Cain the mentor say. Whoever of such an assembling ever heard, Marduk shouted, that for one not from Nibiru Anunnaki leaders shall to judge be called. Is it not enough that one by Ninurta mentored, the one by me favored has killed? Is it not that as Ninurta Anzu did vanquish, so did Cain against his brother rise? Like the fate of Anzu, Cain's fate should be, his life breath to be extinguished. So did Marduk in anger to Enki, Enlil, and Ninurta say. Ninurta by the words of Marduk was saddened. Silence, not words, his answer was. Let me with Marduk, my son, words in private have, to them Enki said. When in Enki's private chambers he and Marduk were, my son, to Marduk Enki softly spoke, your agony is great. Let us not agony with agony compound. A secret that on my heart has heavenly emburdened, let me to you tell. Once upon a time, as by the river I strolled, 2 earthling maidens my fancy caught. By them from my seed were Adapa and TT conceived. A new kind of earthling, a civilized man, by that upon the earth was brought.
He's like, these are my kids, man. Don't kill them, bro.
Whether they to procreate were able, our king Anu in doubt was. By the birth of Cain and Abel were Anu and the council on Nibiru convinced. A new phase of Anunnaki presence on this planet has welcomed and approved. Now that Abel has been slain, and if Cain too shall be extinguished, satiation to an end would come. Mutinies will be repeated. All that was achieved shall crumble. No wonder that to Abel a liking you took. The son of your half-brother he was. Now, on the other one have pity. Let the line of Adapa survive. So did Enki with sadness, a secret to Marduk, his son, reveal.
So here, let me stop you real quick. So the Bible says that Cain was the original sin. And from that sin, we all suffer that same fate of being born into sin with the killing. That's in our bloodline. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say there's an original sin there. It says that if we do kill Cain, that this crazy killing, this always going against your brother and wanting to fight your neighbor and kill him is always going to continue. Let's show mercy. Let's let him live. Let's let the line of Adam continue. and let's show a little bit of coolness here, right? But it's weird how it got switched, and it made you believe that killing was the original sin, and because then now we're all screwed. You know what I mean? I think everything really is a choice always. You know, and this is what they did. They chose a different route, and through the banishing of Cain, you're going to see some crazy stuff right here. You know, you're going to find out some real truths about some stuff.
By the revelation, Marduk was at first astounded. Then by laughter he was overcome. Of your love-making prowess, much to me was rumored.
He's like, motherfucker.
Now of that convinced I am.
He's like, you fucked them things by the damn river, and these are the kids? Oh, shit, man. I heard rumors about this, Pops. What the fuck, dude?
Indeed, let Cain's life be spared. To the ends of the earth, let him be banished. So did Marduk from anger.
Of the earth.
So did Marduk from anger to laughter changing, to his father say. In Eridu, judgment upon Cain by Enki was pronounced. Eastward, to a land of wandering for his evil deed, Cain must depart. That his life must be spared, he and his generations shall be distinguished. By Ningazida was the life essence of Cain altered.
Okay, so hold on right there real quick. You take a hit of this because it's bomb. You hold your place. This is bomb. And it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, fresh out the bag, baby. So check this out. So they 7 who judge said, hey, we're going to banish you to the ends of the earth to walk to the east. And we're going to make it so if you create people, because you have the power to, you know, create people, because that's what humans do. But when you do, we're going to be able to distinguish, right? Is that the right word?
Yes.
Distinguish.
You are going to be distinguished.
And that means
meaning that you will be separated somehow.
I can tell you apart from all the rest of the people because of this one thing, specifically this one thing. And mind you, they're not just, they didn't come here as gods. They came here as scientists and workers, hard workers, man. And they knew genetics. We're way beyond us in evolution. And they had genetic labs everywhere. So all it simply was to take a motherfucker just like me, give me the shot, I fall asleep. They fixed my DNA genetic code that when I ejaculate into a womb of creation, that creation will always come out a specific way, and it's a marker. It's, you know, when they say, oh, that's all junk DNA, that's tweak points where they get to fucking tweak it with their cone-shaped tools, man. That's the meat formulas. So they, Ningazida specifically went in and tweaked the DNA of Cain so that not him, but his entire line, everyone he creates and everyone they create will always be born with one genetic thing. What is it, baby?
That his face, a beard should not grow.
A face that his beard should not grow. Okay, so
Cain's life essence, Ningazida changed. End of sentence.
Yeah, Ningazida changed his life essence. Went in with DNA or genetic code in his DNA and changed it. What up, Groze? So that way, all of his offspring would not have a beard. Now we can go across the planet and find out all the people that didn't actually grow a beard, and he walked to the east. We're going to find out later all this crazy stuff and where those people actually, where they were found on the planet, that the Anunnaki did not create these people. They specifically say they are the descendants of Cain himself. And they knew this specifically because they didn't have beards. So when you go on the place and you say, I'm the real person that was in charge of the United States, I was here before these beardless people, I'm telling you that this says you're wrong. If you have a beard, this says you weren't part of Cain's crew. You were not here first, because they were.
With his sister Awan as a spouse, Cain from the Eden departed to the land of wandering. He set his course.
So he took his sister with him, his sister wife with him, and walked to the east. So wherever they were on this planet, they walked to the east, and they had sex and made people.
Now the Anunnaki sat and among themselves wondered, without a Baal, without Cain, who shall for us the grains grow and bread make? Who shall be the shepherd, the ewes multiply, wool for clothing provide? Let by Adapa and Titi more proliferation be, so did the Anunnaki say. With the blessing of Enki, Adapa his house, Titi knew again and again. One daughter, another daughter, each time again and again were born. In the 95th Shar, a son Adapa and Titi finally had. Sati, he who life binds again. Titi him named. By him were the generations of Adapa counted.
So hold on 1 second. We got Sati. Remember his name, because he was the first. So he becomes the king of Samaria when old man Adam dies, right? So what we got? 95th Shar, you said?
It was 95th Shar, and the 95th
95 times 3,600 equals, that's 342,000 years. Okay, now we can go back and figure out when Adam was created and stuff like that, but I've done Adam's timeline, and he dies at 54,000 years old, I do believe, human years. Now by Shars, he's only like 50 Shars old or something like that. You know, he's only not that many
He's
Shars.
actually young comparatively.
Yeah, he's not that many Shars. These people, you see, it's 342,000 years, and these dudes are just going to work. Like, they haven't even worked fucking 95 years yet. They haven't even worked 100 of their years yet. They have not even worked. And Lord Enki's just kicking it. He's not like, oh man, I'm getting old, I gotta quit. How long did they live? This 100 years is like a fucking chapter in their life. And there's many chapters in people's lives.
Sati, he who life finds again, Titi him named. By him were the generations of Adapa counted. In all, 30 sons and 30 daughters Adapa and Titi had. Of them, tillers of the land and shepherds for the Anunnaki toiled. By them did satiation to Anunnaki and civilized earthlings come back. In the 97th Shar, to Sati, a son, by his spouse Azura was born.
So, Adam and Eve, we got the primitive workers. They're doing all the ass wiping, all the fetching the water, and all the digging for the gold. Then we got Adam and Eve, Adamu and Titi, or Adapa and Titi, and they are doing all the civilized duties of slavery, like being good house motherfuckers, and you know what I mean. And
they're running the homesteads, guys.
Yeah, they're running the homesteads. They literally were slaves. Every one of them, and from the primitive worker built as a tool to these people. An oopsie happened. You know what I'm talking about, guys? It's an oopsie. You should have pulled out, but it was an oopsie. 2 oopsies happened with the holy seed, and now we got more slaves doing all the work. When can we go pick berries and shit, man? What the fuck is happening? All slavery, all tools, man. Digging gold. We just weren't the ones digging the gold. That's what it was. The Adam and Eve people, the civilized people, they weren't digging the gold. What's funny is, did they even know the gold diggeth was happening?
Did they know that that's what the whole point of them being here was?
What if the splitteth of the atom happened way before World War II? What if it happened as a person, Adam and Adam? Atom and Adapa. There's Adam and Adam. That's what they were. They were the atoms. They were the atom.
The first atom and the second atom.
The atom. The atom. That's where they learned how to build the atom, build a person. That's what they did. What if they split that atom? What if on this planet there is literally, like, let me just say it, a lighter race that they created that was over here living a whole society of slavery. We're still slaves. White people are still slaves. The lighter race. Just think about it, because that's what's written. If you read it, it is written that they were way lighter. They call them even the dark-haired people from the dark lands later, the black people, right? So what if there was a lighter race of people that lived over here that were still slaves working the homesteads, didn't have no life of their own at all, and had no idea that there was a darker race of what they call them, primitive workers. They were actual slaves doing the dirty work over here.
Digging for the gold.
What, they separated them. What if they had no idea? That's just a hypothesis. I'll go down that rabbit hole type thing. What if that's where the separation happened? What if that's a splitting of the atom that we never even knew about? Is what I'm saying. Like, where the fuck do white people come from? We have a couple instances where white people come in and make the water muddy or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or make the muddy water milky, whatever it is, however way you want to roll with it. But it's like, where did the separation come from? Really though, what is the truth? It's got to be. They don't talk about no intermingling here. They talk about different shit. There's never angels that come down and talk to the primitive workers. They don't give a fuck about the primitive workers. They can't even talk. They can only understand what you're saying and say yes and no and thank you. They knew primitive words. Sorry, go ahead. That was just a rabbit hole. You can check it out, man.
By the name Enki in the annals he was recorded. Master of humanity meant his name. By Adapa, his father, writing and numbers he was made to understand, and who the Anunnaki were and all about Nibiru, by Adapi Enki was told. To Nibiruki, by the sons of Enlil he was taken, secrets of the Anunnaki, him they taught. How the perfumed oils for anointing Nanar Enlils on earth the eldest showed him. How the elixir from the Inbu fruits to prepare Ishkur, Enlil's youngest, him instructed. It was since then that by civilized man the Anunnaki lords were called, and of the rites of worship of the Anunnaki that the beginning was. Thereafter to Enki by his sister Noam a son was born. Cunin, he of the kilns, his name had the meaning. For by Ninurta in Bad Tabira he was tutored. Of furnace and kiln there he learned how with bitumens fire to make, how to smelt and refine he was taught. In the smelting and refining of gold for Nibiru he and his offspring toiled. In the 98th Shar did this matter come about. Now this is the account of the generations of Adapa after Cain was exiled, and the heavenly journeys of Enkime and the death of Adapa. In the 99th Shar to Cunin a son was born. By Mualet, a half-sister of Cunin, he was conceived. Malelu, he who plays, she named him. In music and song he excelled. For him Ninurta a stringed harp made, a flute for him he shaped. Hymns to Ninurta Malelu played, with his daughters before Ninurta they sang. The spouse of Malelu, the daughter of his father's brother, was. Duna was her name. In the 100th Shar, since the count on earth had begun, a son to Malelu and Duna was born. Their firstborn he was. Irid, he of the sweet waters, his mother Duna him named. Him Demuzi, how wells to dig had taught, for flocks in distant meadows water to provide. It was there, by the wells in the meadows, that shepherds and maidens gathered, where espousing and proliferation by civilized man exceedingly abounded. In his days, the Igigi to earth were more frequently coming. To observe and see from the heavens they increasingly abandoned. To watch and see what on earth was transpiring they increasingly desired. To be with them on Lamu, Enki Marduk beseeched. To watch and see what on earth was transpiring, Marduk more fervently wished. At a well in the meadows did Irid his spouse meet. Baraka was her name. The daughter of his mother's brother she was. At the conclusion of the 102nd Shar, a son to them was born, by the name Enki Me, by Enki Me, understanding, and the annals he was called.
Who is that?
That is the son of Baraka and what's his name?
Marduk and somebody else. I mean, Baraka was her name.
Baraka
and
was
Marduk.
Irid.
Irid. Okay, Irid and Baraka.
Irid and Baraka.
Yeah. So they're all on Mars. They're on Mars's way station, sitting back, and they probably got an all-seeing eye that can see that far. Maybe they're on Anunnaki, probably, or they're calling up all the time, and they're like, "Yo, show me what Earth looks like, dude. This is dope." And then they got TikToks and shit, and they're showing what Earth looks like. They're like, I want to go to Earth so bad, and they get to come here, pick up the gold, and go back to Mars. So this is happening the whole time. You hear we're at the 100th Shar again. I swear, when damn Igigi was toiling, we was at the 100th Shar before, but then we went back to tell you what happened, how it led up to this point. Now we're at the 102 Shar, right?
Yes.
Hold on one second.
At the conclusion of the 102nd Shar, a son to them was born, by the name Enki Me, by Enki Me, understanding.
That's 367,200 years they've been on this planet and doing all this shit, right?
Wise and intelligent he was. Numbers he quickly understood.
Cheers. What?
About the heavens and all matters celestial he was constantly curious. To him the Lord Enki took a liking. Secrets once to Adapa revealed, to him he told. Of the family of the sun and the 12 celestial gods Enki him was teaching, and how the months by the moon were counted, and the years by the sun, and how by Nibiru the Shars were counted, and how the counts by Enki were combined.
So in the beginning, they taught us about their planet. They taught us about the cycles of the earth. They taught us about the cycles of all the stars, all the planets in our system. They told us when it comes around. They told us what happens. They told us everything. And somehow, all of a sudden, we get in arguments that this planet ain't even freaking real. That's insane to me. Jesus knew. In Jesus' day, they knew Nibiru was real. They knew it circled around. Like, they knew we were this thing that was a circle floating in space. They knew we were going around the sun. They never believed everything revolved around us. You know why? Because they were not taught that. They were taught the real truth. We, as children, were taught stupid shit.
And how by Nibiru the Shars were counted, and how the counts by Enki were combined. How the Lord Enki the circles of the heavens to 12 parts divided, a constellation to each one how Enki assigned. 12 stations in a grand circle he arranged. How to honor the 12 Anunnaki great leaders, by names the stations were called. To explore the heavens, Ankime was eager. 2 celestial journeys he did make. And this is the account of Ankima's journeys to the heavens, and how the Igigi troubles and intermarriages by Marduk were started. To be with Marduk in the landing place, Ankime was sent. From there, Marduk in a rocket ship to the moon did him take. There, what Marduk from his father Enki had learned, to Ankima he did teach. When to earth Ankime returned, to be with Utu in Sipar, the place of the chariots, he was sent. There, a tablet for writing what he was learning by Utu to Ankime was given. Utu, in his bright abode, a prince of earthlings him installed. The rites him he taught, the functions of priesthood to begin.
You heard this, right? Who was doing this?
Utu.
Utu was teaching this human, said, you're a prince of the humans, right? The kingship was passed down from heaven. Right here it is, right here. Taught priestship and kingship. That's what it says, right? Read that again.
The rites him he taught. Rites, R-I-T-E-S.
Can you read that part again, though?
Utu, in his bright abode, a prince of earthlings him installed. The rites him he taught, the functions of priesthood to begin.
There you go. There you go.
In Sipar, with his spouse, Edini, a half-sister, and Kime resided. To them, in the 104th Shar, a son was born. Matushal, his mother named him, who by the bright waters raised, the name meant.
What is the name?
Matushal.
Methuselah. Methuselah. That's Methuselah. Who don't know Methuselah? Come on, man. It's the wizard.
It was after that Enkime on his second journey to the heavens went. This time, too, Marduk was his mentor and companion. In a celestial chariot, heavenward they soared.
Who went there?
Marduk and Enkime.
Enkime, another human.
That was the human that was being taught and
Yep.
taught all of this stuff.
Another human goes up
Oops.
into space. Do you know who Enkime is? Do you guys ever heard the book of Enoch? They're talking about Enoch right here. This is Enoch they're talking about. He's a man who went to space. Go ahead, baby.
This time, too, Marduk was his mentor and companion. In a celestial chariot, heavenward they soared. Toward the sun and away from it they circled. To visit the Ikiki on Lamu, by Marduk he was taken.
So he took him to Mars, and he was being taught by Marduk. Remember, Marduk wanted to come to Earth however he could. So they were like, well, you can come to Earth, teach this little kid how to do some shit. He's like, bet, I'm there. And he came there, and he was his mentor. Marduk literally taught Enoch the book of Enoch. You know what I'm saying?
To him the Igigi a liking took. Of civilized earthlings from him they learned. Of him it is in the annals said that to the heavens he departed. That
There you go.
That in the heavens he stayed to the end of his days.
That's Enoch. That's Enoch. Yeah. Thank you.
Before
You guys get it.
before Enkime for the heavens departed, all that in the heavens he was taught.
Yes.
In writings Enkime a record made, for his sons to know he wrote it.
The book of Enoch that he did.
All that is in the heavens in the family of the sun he wrote down, and about the quarters of the earth and its lands and its rivers too. To the lands of Matushal, his firstborn son, the writings he entrusted, with his brothers Rajim and Gaidad, to study and abide by.
Yes.
In the 104th Shar was Matushal born.
Methuselah. So in what now?
In the 104th Shar, Matushal born.
104 Shar times 3600. Methuselah was born, guys. That's Methuselah. She says how it's written. It's written a fucked up way, but it's the truth. But it's Methuselah, the grandfather of Noah. We're getting there. We're getting up to our time. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see some shit here coming soon. You're going to see how many years it was between the flood. Not in this episode, but, in a different episode, you're going to see how many years it's been from the flood to even Jesus to now. It's going to blow your mind to think it's been that long. So here we got 374,400 years since the Anunnaki first started counting time or landed on our planet till that day Methuselah was born. Now, mind you, there's another whole nother slave race out there that don't know shit, that don't know about the stars, don't know shit about the planet. All they know is to serve. Okay? There's this other whole group that's being taught all this other shit. There's another group that's being taught to go to space and shit, being taught about space. There's a whole, they're getting separated inside that group. That whole one family tree is being taught all these different things. It's insane.
To the Igigi troubles and what Marduk had done, he was a witness. By his spouse, Ednat, a son to Matushal, was born. Lumak, mighty man, was his name.
Mighty man.
In his days, conditions on earth became harsher. The toilers in field and meadow raised complaints. As a workmaster, the Anunnaki, Lumak, appointed the quotas to enforce, the rations to reduce. In his days it was that Adapa his death time attained, and when Adapa knew that his days to an end were coming.
So here, hold up. So now we got all these humans working. Man, I swear she just said the humans were starting to complain that the times were getting harsh, like shit was getting bad. They're like, man, this work's getting kind of hard. So they had a point, and Anunnaki, boss man, had put a boss man in charge of that worker group over there. They're getting out of hand there. Go get a boss man on them. Get that chain gang going right. You know what I'm saying? We need our fucking wheat. We need our ewes, and we need our shit. We need our gold, motherfucker. So they literally put a boss man in charge of these people. It's crazy. They used to run themselves. They were teaching them kingship. They had one king. They were taught one king and one priest, right? That's what it said. They didn't teach each city had their own thing. No, they taught one king and one priest. There was a king of Sumer. There was one priest. Just like you see in all the movies, there's a king and a priest. The priestess, the goddess, whatever it is, that's next to them doing the weird stuff in the bowl. That's how it was. They did it. What did we got next?
Let all my sons and sons of sons assemble themselves to me, he said, that before I die, I may bless them, and words to them speak before I die. And when Sati and the sons of the sons had gathered, where is Cain, my firstborn? Adapa of them all asked. Let him be fetched to them all, he said. Before the Lord Enki Sati, his father's wish presented. What to be done of the Lord, he asked. Enki then Ninurta summoned. Let the banished one, for whom the mentor you were, to Adapa's deathbed be brought.
So Sati, the firstborn of Adam, Adam was like, yo, I'm dying, man. Where's Cain? Everyone's here but Cain. I still want to see Cain. He's my blood. He's my first genetically born. But Sati was the firstborn son after 30 daughters, right? So he's like, my son, yo, where's Cain? So Cain was like, yo, my feet can't reach that far, yo. I need a spaceship. So he's like, yo, Lord Enki, yo, Adam, he wants to see Cain. So Adam's like, all right, Ninurta. Shit rolls down here, motherfucker. Ninurta, go see if you can scoop up Cain. So he does what?
In his bird of heaven, Ninurta betook himself. To the land of wandering he flew. Over the lands he roamed, from the skies for Cain he searched. And when he him found, like on eagle's wings, Cain to Adapa he brought.
Okay, so no, he didn't give any details about what he saw. He just said he flew over all the lands, and when he found Cain, he brought him back in a spaceship. Damn.
When of his son's arrival Adapa was informed, let Cain and Sati before me come, Adapa said. Before their father the two came.
Listen close.
Before their father the two came. Cain, the firstborn, on the right, Sati on the left. And the eyesight of Adapa having failed, for recognition, his sons' faces he touched.
Listen.
And the face of Cain on the right was beardless, and the face of Sati on the left with beard was.
They fixed his DNA.
And Adapa put his right hand on the head of Sati, the one on the left, and he blessed him and said, of your seed shall the earth be filled, and of your seed as a tree with tree branches, mankind, a great calamity shall survive. And he put his left hand on the head of Cain on his right. And to him he said, for your sin of your birthright you are deprived, but of your seed 7 nations shall come. In a realm set apart they shall thrive. Distant lands they shall inhabit. But having your brother with a stone killed, by a stone will be your end. And when Adapa finished these words saying, his hands dropped, and he sighed and said, now summon my spouse TT, and all the sons and all the daughters. And after my spirit leaves me, to my birthplace by the river carry me. And with my face towards the rising sun, there bury me. Like a wounded beast, Titi cried out. To her knees by Adapa's side she fell. And the two sons of Adapa, Cain and Sati, in a cloth his body wrapped, in a cave by the banks of the river, by Titi shown, Adapa they buried. In the midst of the 93rd Shar was he born. By the end of the 108th, he died.
Hold on one second. 93. Oh, wait, hold on. First, we got to do it backwards.
Yeah, do
108
minus 93.
Minus 93 equals
15 Shars
times 3,600 equals 54,000 years. Adam, the next generation of humans that created Methuselah, Enoch, all those people, Cain and Abel, that person that was written about in your Bible lived 54,000 years. Now, who knows how long the other one lived? He was a genetic creation that kept creating code, like creating clones, straight up clones.
A long life for an earthling he had. The life cycle of Enki he did not have. And after Adapa was buried, Cain to his mother and brother farewell bade. Ninurta in his bird of heaven to the land of wandering him returned. And in a distant realm Cain had sons and daughters, and he for them a city built. And as he was building, by a falling stone he was killed. In the Eden, Lumak, as a workmaster, the Anunnaki served. In the days of Lumak, did Marduk and the Igigi with earthlings intermarry.
So here's the thing real quick. So Sati, right? We're gonna try to find him in some holy books here. When Adam dies, so we all just think Adam and Eve created people and blah 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 blah, and here's the man, da 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 da, and keep going and going and going and creating all these people. But you can actually trace it back to what they say. He says specifically, Sati puts his hand on the faces. He knew that when he touched their faces, he would be able to tell which one was Cain because it would be bald. Not that he shaved, it was because they fixed his DNA that he would not have a beard, right? So when you see in different movies and shit and they show Cain and he's got a beard, and I'm like, that's not true. That's not right, man. That's not, he was cursed to not have a beard. That's how Adam knew him. That's how his own father knew it was him. So he put his hands on his face, found out which one was Cain, which one was Sati, and said, okay, Sati, your tree of life, his genetic line of people that he was going to create. He was going to create, like, say, if I kept having kids and my kids kept having kids, that's my genetic line that I'm creating, right? So he said, in Sati's genetic line of his tree of people he created, they are going to face a catastrophe, right? And then he talked to Cain, and that's the flood coming down the line.
They will survive.
And we will survive. Then they're talking to Cain and saying, you will be the founder of 7 cities, right? Huh?
7 great nations.
7 great nations. And guess what? These are 7 great nations of gold as we know them. Okay. We're going to find out more about Cain and Cain's people, where Cain went, who are the people Cain created, how can we tell those were Cain's people, how do we know that they were there first before any of the primitive workers were brought there or created there genetically to intermingle and to mine gold in those specific spots? We're going to find these truths. And this is the whole point I try to make with people when I go to church and they kick me right the fuck out. Because I'm like, hold up, man. Let's go back to what Adam said. And they're like, who? I'm like, Adam and Eve. They're like, what the fuck does this got to do with anything? And I'm like, Adam cursed Cain. You don't know about that? But see, don't tell them that. It don't tell them that in their holy books. It don't tell them nothing about Cain's curse, because that would be magic. You know what I'm saying? Everything's got to be supernatural and one power. You know, there is one power. People siphon off of that one power. Other beings siphon off of that one power and call it God. But actually, in the whole time that they're calling themselves God, God is working its way through them and holding them together in the form that they are, you know, or else we would all just be waves interacting with other waves of electrons. Do you understand that? That's all it is. Like, look behind you. A higher being, that's all the hell it sees. That's all it sees. Interaction of waves that form a shape, a wave shape. That's it. We call it aura, but that's all really it ever is. So, you know, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, but this is super, super important. All about Cain. Adam dies. He's 54,000 years old. 54,000 years old, guys. I want you to know that. I swear in the Bible it says he's 980 years old, or maybe that was Noah. I can't quite remember which one that was now. But one of them that's a farce. That's pyrite, bro. It's all pyrite. The lie is there somewhere. Whether this is a lie, that's a lie, someone's lying. I think our newer age books were more molded for our reality of 120 years. And that brings up another point. How these people lived that long back then. How are we only able to live a certain amount of years? If we're the healthiest we could possibly ever be, no carcinogens, no poisons, no crap. If we are 100% healthy our entire life, we can literally only probably push 130. I've seen some people over 120 now. I have 122s, 124s. I'm thinking you could have probably only pushed 130 and you're decrepit is what it is. Your cell, atomic cell anatomy of that electron wears out. The magnet wears out. It's done. His life is over. You know, so that's when we start breaking down. They were further from the sun. Exactly. It's the radiation. You know, so people lived a long time back then, but we got to Cain. We got to Cain. I thought it was maybe in a different one.
Yeah, we did.
Cain's super important character in this. He's a super important human. People think that's where original sin come from, but there's people on this planet that are trying to steal other people's identity and assume their stake for firsts on our planet in certain continents on this planet. And I'm fighting for the truth. I'm fighting for the ones that stand behind the truth always. And what I'm reading is the people that had no beards were first. And later, the primitive worker was brought to where the people with no beards were. It's written that way. And the Anunnaki themselves were shocked. They were like, holy shit, there's all these people here. And they said that, guess what they call them? Know how they know? The descendants of Cain. How would they know they're the descendants of Cain? It's national news, Anunnaki news. He was banished and cursed by the seven who judged to walk to the east and not have a beard. The Anunnaki themselves fixed his DNA. When they found a whole bunch of people that weren't like the rest of them, they're like, hold up, man. Oh, the Cain came over here. Holy shit, he created a whole civilization.
These are Cain's seven nations.
7 nations of people. I mean, fuck, there's all kinds of motherfuckers. I'm going to prove the Polynesians are one of them. The whole island of Mu, I'm going to prove that these were people of Cain. You know what I'm saying? If not, they're going to have to fall in the class somewhere in there. You know what I mean? And that's the truth I'm trying to figure out. Is I already know God is vibration. God is the light. The light is the vibration. It was never a word. It's a vibration that brought matter into conscious form. You know, this is what it's all about. people always talk about consciousness. What is this? What is that? Blah, 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 blah. And it's when you can interact with things with knowledge. You have a thought, you can remember things, you can store knowledge, and you can learn. That's consciousness. Knowing you're here, feeling. I feel that shit. I know I'm here. Like, right? I know if I touch her, I'm interacting with her. If I have bad vibrations, I will affect her. Like most people, you can see their faces change when they think I'm mad. I'm like, I'm not mad. What? Like, I wish I could sometimes put this over my face so you could only hear my words and not see my kind of faces I make. Because some people said that. They're like, bro, before when you made videos, everyone loved you. And then you showed your face and everyone didn't like you. And I was like, why? They think I'm mad or something. I'm not mad. I'm not mad, man. I'm just passionate about what I do and what I say and what I want to find out. Because just like you're a human that's being lied to. I'm a human that's being lied to. I'm not above you. You're not above me. Okay? What we got to do is come together and find out the truth. I don't care about your religion. I don't care that you're religious. I don't care about none of that. I'm not putting you down for it. I want to know the truth. Some people think that by telling me their religion, they'll enlighten me further and bring me back to religion. You don't understand. I already know the whole thing. I've been in the religious thing. I've been prayed over a couple times, and I never thought that ever worked. I was like, nothing happened. Like, I'm still the same dude. I'm going to go out and do the same shit I ever did. Nothing changed me. So I had to understand things more. And I was always hearing spaceships and magic happening and weird shit happening. And they were always burning something. What kind of something was that? They were talking about frankincense. And let me learn the magical. What's this holy anointing oil that they're talking about? I want to know more about this. And so we went down rabbit holes and we found more truths. And we're like, well, hold on. When I went down those rabbit holes, the simple little things I started hearing: Adam and Eve, the flood, Noah, Enoch, Methuselah, all these people. You'll hear about Ra soon. You're going to hear about Jesus. You're going to hear about the Holy Spirit. You're going to hear about Satan. You're going to hear about the devil. You're going to hear about demons on this show coming soon. I mean, the rabbit hole of just researching one small little thing, one little question, it did this. Everything you see in around us and behind us, it sparked a whole universe. It puked answers out at me like, bleh, here's all the truth. I was like, whoa, holy shit. I knew something was fucked up. I knew there was more to this. I've known this shit now. I've been doing this for years and years, but that was my realization. People were suppressing me. The shit I would come up with, the shit I would say, they was like, you're fantasizing, man. That shit lies. Stop with that. Stop with that. People are going to think you're crazy. Well, I didn't want people to think I was crazy. I wanted people to think I was cool. I wanted to be cool. Well, the funny thing is, that's the truth. The truth people were always been suppressing. The more you suppress it, the more people go away from it. If no one ever looks behind the door that's holding the secrets, you're never going to learn shit. You're always going to think everyone's fucking fine. You're never going to know they're a fucking mass murderer. Open the fucking door and look what's in their bedroom once in a while. So let me take a peek. You got anybody hiding in there? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure you're not like fucking got someone chained up to your bed or something. You don't know who people are. You don't know what the truth is until you scratch just a little bit and then be like, okay, well, it's not too bad. It's all right. Well, I'm being lied to a little bit, but not much. Well, let's find, Joe a little bit. Let's find the realness of it all. Like, we know who God is. God's a vibration. You can reach God by enlightenment. Line your chakras. We're going to get to that on another episode too with the third eye strains. And, but the most important thing here is to learn this truth here. You know, a lot of people are like, that's not the truth. Da, 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 da. Well, we can go to the Bible next if you guys like. That's what this is about, reading books. This is about reading books from our past, fact books from our past to figure out how we are today. And you already heard Adam died. He was 54,000 years old. All these damn people were all over the planet. Samaria was built. There's a whole race of freaking primitive workers set apart. They're in the Abzu. Let me just ask you this. Let me ask you this. I've been holding this whole time for the network. Because let me ask you this. If there's a whole bunch of primitive workers just right there in Africa, and there's a whole bunch of civilized people just right here in Iraq, Afghanistan, India area, in the Eden, if they're that close, you don't think that they would ever know about each other? You don't think that they would ever intermingle and be like, hey, man, why are you guys slaves? You got to do all this shit. Why aren't you wearing clothes? You're getting beaten and shit. Why are you guys treated like that? Wouldn't it make more sense if the Abzu was possibly Australia, set way away from all the primitive people? I'm just saying, I'm just scratching the surface. Like, it's got to be far away, because think about it. If the water's way, way lower, Africa, India, Saudi Arabia, they're all going to be one landmass. What? They're going to have rivers running through them. There's not going to be any water. Take that water away. It's right there. The ground is right motherfucking under that water, right? There might be a Gulf of fucking Saudi Arabia or whatever that shit is. But like all those waters were gone. They would be gone if you took the water down 420 feet, meters, or yards, whatever you want to take it down. Take that down to that point before flood point. And you're talking about flat plains connecting all this landmass, like Africa, Saudi Arabia, India. There'd be all mushed together. It'd be all one piece. Marshlands. If anything else, it would be marshlands. But there would be connection, not separation like we see it in our day. That's what a lot of people don't understand. In those days, those maps were totally different. You can't look at our map today and go, oh, this is how it was. This is where they were. You strip back a whole bunch of water. And then now wait a minute. And people were right there. They could just have walked right over. Wait a minute. Maybe it was over there. Maybe they were digging gold over there. Because Crocodile Dundee, what's in the Outback? Tons of fucking gold. Tons of gold that no one knows about. That's cool. But what do we got for next week? Can we do the 9th tablet to get a synopsis of the end of this episode?
All right. So next week, make sure you turn in, because we're going to continue the saga. On the 9th tablet, mankind proliferates. Adapa's line serves as royalty. Defying Enlil, Marduk espouses an earthling female. Celestial disturbances and climate changes affect Lamu. Remember, that's Mars.
Yep.
The Igigi descend to Earth, seize earthling females as wives.
Oh, shit. Nephilim.
The promiscuous Enki begets a human son, Zisudra.
Oh, what? Noah?
The promiscuous Enki begets a human son,
Name?
Zisudra.
Noah. He's white as fuck, blue eyes. Noah.
Droughts and pestilences cause suffering on Earth. Enlil sees it as a fated retribution and wants to return home. Ninmah, aged by Earth's cycles, also wants to return. A mystery emissary warns them not to defy their destiny. Signs increase of a coming calamitous deluge. Most Anunnaki begin to depart back to Nibiru. Enlil enforces a plan to let mankind perish. Enki and Ninmah start to preserve Earth's seeds of life.
Yep.
The remaining Anunnaki
Noah's Ark.
Prepare for the day of the deluge. And Nergal, Lord of the lower world, is to issue the warning.
Okay. Not the devil, not Satan, right? Not the one right? Not the one judged. This is the Lord of the lower world, inner earth. This is the damn king of inner earth. We're down. Man, this next episode, you guys. You got to be back here for the 9th tablet. It's always about the 9th gate. You know what I'm saying? The 9th gate is where the 9th tablet is where we start reading about and hearing about inner earth. We're hearing about the white man being born, right? Sasudra, right? Where did the white guy come from? Well, there was a dude that was written about that was white with blue eyes that survived the flood. Supposedly, only him and his family survived this motherfucker, and he was white as shit. It says he was white as shit. He was so white that when he was born, they were all shocked. Imagine a whole bunch of black people in a room of darkness, blackness, because they were in like a little hut. You know, it's dark, and you've seen it in movies. And they're all black as shit. You can only see like eyeballs in this darkness. Not talking no shit. I'm just saying realist. I'm giving you a picture. And all of a sudden, out spits this white fucking kid. Whoa, what the fuck is that? You know, they would be shocked as shit if they never seen something like that before. And the description of Noah kind of suggests that they've never seen anything like that being born yet on this planet, spitting out from human to human. Which puts me on my realm. Where did the white people come from? I always say, where was it only black people back then? Or were the primitive workers the black people? And then they built the white girl. No, not a white girl. She was whatever color the Anunnaki was.
Yes.
We can't call her white. We can call her green. She could be sand.
She was called sand.
Well, her
color.
hair was the color of sand.
Right. And the skin of Anunnaki. So we don't know what skin color.
We don't know what skin color.
We do know that her color was the color of, her hair was the color of sand.
Blonde, which is blonde. That's blonde. Sandy blonde. That's what they call it. So there, right, we could have Hawaiian skin people, right? We could have the Asians, we could have the Mexicans, like we could have these different, I'm just talking about colors. I'm thinking what color the Anunnaki could be. Maybe the fucking Anunnaki are green, and that's how we got Italian.
I mean, there is a reason why we have an olive skin tone underneath, guys.
It's a green, right? I'm just speculating. I'm trying to figure this shit out. I'm not trying to be racist, not one bit. I want to know where the fuck people came from. How did they get split? Where's the separation? Don't we know we're fucking human? Don't we know we were all slaves? I don't give a shit what color, but some reason some people do. They want to claim stake on other people's rights. And I don't think that's correct. I want you to know where the fuck it all started. Well, who were you in the beginning? Who was your people? Where did your people, like I'm Polish and Irish. Those people came from all over the fuck place. We're going to find out. And we're going to find out who their gods were and which generation of Anunnaki we're talking about here. Because that's all it was. The Anunnaki never left. They always stayed. They stayed as the rulers. This God for this nation, that God for that nation.
And all the gods change names throughout our entire history of Earth.
Like when you look at Paris.
And places.
Yep. When you look at Paris, geographically on this planet, right? That is where Inanna, right? The daughter, or is it granddaughter, of Anu lived. That was her city. She went there, took the me formula, made people, built Paris, Isis. Look it up. Look it up. You're going to follow the breadcrumb right to Isis, the Anunnaki. They split the planet up and said, all right, you can have that chunk. You can have that chunk. You know, a couple of giants, they went to where? Where did a couple of giants go? Oh, man, they went to Italy, didn't they? Go look up that shit. There were giants that ruled Italy in those times. Our books, some of our books, depict it as we're all the same size. Other books depict little people and huge motherfucking people. Well, it's not a foreshadow. It's not a foreshadow. It's not I look bigger here and not here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that. It's flat. If you want to depict something as in the foreshadow, you put it way over here. You don't put it next to the thing. They're next to each other and they're huge. So that's what I'm getting at. There's giants in our past. They are way bigger than what we think they were, and they lived longer in our history than we're being told, like right in our recent past. Like I'm talking, man, what if this shit was 1800s? What if it was 1700s? And do you know the one, this is a new thing I really recently was discovering. You know how it's like 1900s, 2000s? So originally, the 1900 was a J or an I, because I is the same as J in their alphabet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was J846, J847, J84. It was like the 8th year, 46th day, right? And it was J. Remember in the video games, I don't ever know how the fuck they're doing the dates because it don't make sense. And then they changed the alphabet to I. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it was an I first, then a J. And then the white man came in and picked the Roman numeral I and put it as a 1, right? So now it became 1200, 1300, 1400, 1500, 1600, 1700, when really it's 300, 400, 500. So people think it's like 2000, year 2000, but it's really should be year like 1000 or something like that, or some shit like that, like 1200. I think year 1200. Maybe that's what it was. Year 1200. Because after 1000, you would put the 1.
Yeah.
And then it would be 200.
Yeah.
So after a whole 1,000 years go by, and as it was written back in those times, it was a J or an I, and then the date. You can look that up too. That's a different rabbit hole. All right, people. Thank you for joining us in the Ganja Gospel. It's been a great time. Great rabbit holes are going down. Next time, we're going to find giants. And we're going to learn about where they are, what the purpose was, and why everyone was obsessed with gold. What's this obsession with gold? You all dragons? Draconians? Are you all draconians? Mm-hmm. Remember, they didn't know what serpents were. So these can't be draconians.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Appreciate you, and we will see you next Sunday for Ganja Gospel.
Peace out and stay frosty, everybody. 9th tablet next week. It's going to be great. Peace out.
Bye.